This morning, I want to speak on behalf of women. I want to speak on behalf of women because we have been pulled apart. We're now stuck in, or seeming to be stuck in this DC nightmare. And honestly, we don't have to be stuck. This is something amazing that I have learned. And I want to share it with you guys because there's so much fear right now about what's going on in our country. I just had a conversation yesterday with somebody who said to me, a good friend from high school, who said to me, well, I'm leaving the country. What am I going to do? And I thought, well, there's something here about our power. And also we've got to stop thinking this huge imposter syndrome thing of we don't have the power. Yeah, we do. Yeah, we do. We have Moisha. Hey, good to see you. We have the power to completely change freaking everything. And you have to understand something that Nikola Tesla, do you know who Nikola Tesla was? This man was brilliant. He was all about physics, about energy. And he understood things that are about the core of how the world works, how the universe works, and how we work. We humans, we've been sold this great big thing, this great big pile of crap about you don't have any power. About I've got all the money, I've got all the political power, therefore I'm all that. No, it's not true. Now, some of you may be real like spiritual geeks like me, and you may think, okay, well, I've heard all this stuff and I know. But do you know? Do you know how to use your power? That's the thing. We can have a lot of isms. We can have a lot of ways of looking at what's going on and yet have absolutely no idea how to put it into action, how to make our world work. Sorry about this orientation here, guys. I've still not figured out how to make this work better. So is there anybody here who is struggling with that sense of I have the power to protect myself with energy, to protect myself with raising my energy, raising the way that I look at things? And is anybody having trouble with this idea of I'm truly powerful enough to not be stuck? Is anybody having that problem? That's the question. Because if you're having that problem, you're not alone. And it is how we've been enculturated for millennia. I call it the feminine. I just call it the feminine because all the things that are the feminine have been taken out of our world and we've been told not to pay attention to them. Don't pay attention to being interpersonal. Don't pay attention to being emotionally naked with each other. Don't do that, they tell us. Don't do that. That's terrible. Don't you dare be somebody who's sensitive. Don't you dare be somebody who cares. And so we've got men out here in power, men who I've worked for in corporations. I did work in corporations forever, and they're obnoxious. They've decided before they ever meet me that what I am is, I'm either useful as a sex toy or forget it. You're not useful for anything. Really? Really? I could think circles around you, motherfucker. I really can. Because you don't have the depth of a seashell. You really don't. And I have the depth of the ocean. Not because I'm a woman, but because I have the feminine and I'm enacting it and I'm making it real. I'm making it work. And you can too. You can too. What are your relationships based on? If you think that it's all transactional, you're lost. You're lost. You're not getting where you need to go. You're just having transactional crap. And no wonder you go home at night and drink or take drugs or have massive sex with people you don't even care about. If you're not willing to be really connected, really attached, then you don't have a life. And what's happening with our world right now, with our country right now in the US, if you're from the US here, you'll recognize this. But what's happening with the US is that we've lost our way a long time ago. Now, at the time I started to become aware of it, and thank you, Deb. If you're still here, thank you for liking. I appreciate you. Um, the first time I became aware of it was when Reagan got into office. And I remember crying because I was like, it's not that the minute we started to move away from caring about one another, being mature enough to say, I don't understand you. I don't necessarily like you, but I respect the fact that you're human. I respect that you have a right to have what you need to live. Fundamental shit, right? Fundamental. It's totally fundamental shit, and it's all feminine, and we are all both masculine and feminine. I just came across the most remarkable guy. I just emailed him last night, and I hope to God he's still alive. Screw it. I'm just going to hold it. His name is Bill Donahue, and I really recommend that you go listen to him, watch him on YouTube. This guy takes the Bible and he demystifies it, and he shows how all the crap that all of the fundamentalists and all of the people in churches around the world have taken as, oh, this is gospel, meaning it's real, is actually, the Bible was written by mystics. The Bible was written by mystics. These were not people who were keeping a diary. Do you understand? They were not people keeping a dang diary. And he even points out that I think it's the Old Testament, it's actually written, God is not a man. Oh, scares people. God is not a man. It's written. I mean, I've got to find the page that he talks about. But he says, in the Old Testament, it says, God made man and woman. God made he them. He made them. He didn't rip a rib out of somebody and go, ha, 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 I'm going to make a woman. No, that reading, that understanding, that misunderstanding. Hey, Nettinga, that misunderstanding of the Bible is complete bullshit. It's not what's real. The reality of the Bible is energetic. It's energy. It's soul. It's spirit. It's heart. And this guy, whose name is Bill or William Donahue, Donahue, is a freaking genius. He shows exactly how everything there is about how to come into our own mega power, seriously mega power, and become. Do you know that phrase that Jesus says? Like, the things that I do, you're going to do and better. We haven't done crap. We haven't done crap. You know what we've done? And when I say we, I mean cultures throughout the millennia. What we've done is we followed the rules we were given by men in power. That's what happened. That's what we were given. And that's what we did. We went, oh, if I'm a good little girl or a good little boy and followed the rules, then I will be saved. Because that's what they told us. They said, look, we're the middleman. You can't have direct access to your divinity. No, that's not allowed. No, that's too feminine. They took the feminine out. They said, you're not allowed to be sensitive. You're not allowed to feel. You're not allowed to connect. No. No, that's not good. You have to actually just follow our rules, and then that's it. We will give you the pass. Seriously. That's not real. That's not reality. And we have never needed information like this more in human history than right now. We are in the evolution. We're in an evolution we've never seen before. We don't know what's going to come in the next year, never mind the next 10 years. We don't know. And that's because we are moving so fast now. The energy that is going on, that is creating our shifts, is so fast. And if you are a self-aware person, then you've noticed this. You've noticed there are shifts inside of you. There are changes that you're making. You're thinking of ideas and discarding them just as quickly when you know just as quickly that they don't work for you, that you're done. You're like, yeah, no, this isn't it. This isn't it for me. Because you can feel it. You can sense it. This is what's happening, is the incoming of the feminine and us stopping this idea that we're supposed to be without it. That is the biggest imposter syndrome there is. Biggest imposter syndrome of all. Hi, I'm supposed to be masculine only. God created he, them. And I am not a Bible scholar. Let me just tell you, I am not a Bible scholar, but I'm learning from Bill. I am learning, and it's amazing. Now, for a long time, I have felt that physics and metaphysics are exactly the same. And turns out that I'm right. Isn't that amazing? I'm not a physics person. Anybody who knows me, Nediga, will tell you I'm not a physics person, but I'm becoming one. I'm a very spiritual person, but I am a questioner. And I will take on any ism, any belief, anything in my own mind and in your mouth and say, prove it. Prove it. You've got to prove it to yourself. Yeah. Yeah. I see you netting. Yes. You're not either anymore. There is something we've been enculturated to for a very long time, and it's to believe that we have absolutely no power. If you think about it, think how many times you've said, I'd really like to do that thing. And then you go, oh, but I don't know how. And you kind of leave it there, right? You kind of leave it by the side of the road. I don't know how. Let yourself be curious. And for the love of Christ, go to ChatGPT or Google or something. And at least ask the damn question, how do I? It's amazing how strong that one movement of empowerment is. It's amazing. Because here's why. It has nothing at all to do with your willpower. It has nothing at all to do with how smart you are. It has nothing to do with your smarts. It has nothing to do with where you went to school or how you went to school, how you did in school. It has nothing to do with any of that. It has nothing to do with it. It has to do with the grooves in your brain that are connected to the feminine that you've been ignoring because you've been told to. You know, all those emotions you're afraid to look at, all those aspects of you that you're afraid to look at because they're scary, because they're unknown. Not because you're going to find a serial killer inside of you. It's just the unknown makes us nervous until we learn how to walk into it and we learn to notice that, oh, I didn't die, because that is the primal fear. That is the fight or flight thing in the amygdala. We step into something new, and I'm talking a tiny step. I'm not talking big leaps, okay? Not at all. But if you were the person or are the person who has said for years and years, I'm so interested in this, I'm so interested in this, I'm so interested in this, and I'm going to go take my own advice after I get off of here. And I say, I'm not an imposter. I'm not somebody who's incapable. I'm somebody who can figure shit out. I can figure it out. If you are that person, and the tiny step you take is that you go onto ChatGPT or Google and you go, how the hell do I do this? Now you may go, but that's not doing much. I'm sorry, that's doing fucking everything. It's doing fucking everything, I'm telling you. Because let me tell you exactly why, because it's really important that you understand why I say that that's everything. I learned 3 years ago, 3.5 and more years ago, from personal experience, because I have to prove things. I have to have things. I have to be able to feel and know them and prove them to me. I learned that when I use my energy, my emotional awareness, when I clear the misunderstandings here so that there's a clear path here, that I can, by using tiny, tiny steps of emotional upgrade, I can change anything. I can change any of my emotions. Any. Now, the hitch is, can I get myself to sit down and do it? You'd think that'd be the easy part once you knew that, oh, I can change anything. You might think, oh, that'd be the easy part, but it's not. Not for me. Not for me. It is energy that is connected directly to your brain. Okay, let me tell you some of the other really cool stuff that Bill Donahue talks about that gives us literally limitless power. He talks about how because the Bible is, hi Maggie, because the Bible is all about, sorry guys, I lost the train of thought for a second. I got it back. Because it's all written by mystics. When the Bible talks about the Garden of Eden, they're not talking about some long ago Garden of Eden with two naked people frolicking around, one who was like ripped out, had his rib ripped out, and this woman was created from some bits and pieces of this guy. The Garden of Eden, he talks about the left side of the brain and the right side of the brain. And the left side of the brain, he says, is the 10% that we use. That's the stuff that we're accustomed to. And it's not that we're stupid. It's just we get programmed. Like we've been in a human way of being for millennia that is about just going with what we see, responding to it, reacting to it, having these different sorts of habits. And so we keep following this. And over here, meanwhile, on the right side, though I think this looks like the left side to you guys, but anyway, on the right side of your head is your subconscious. He said the subconscious is not a dark, scary place. He said that's also a piece of garbage that you've been given. It's not a dark, scary place. That's where think of it like a beautiful garden that's been overrun with weeds of the ego. It hasn't been tended to. So when you go over there and you confront, and you don't confront with fight or argument or anything like that, you confront with truth. You sit with it. You sit with your awareness and you go, okay, I'm seeing this thing that's in my head that's telling me I'm less than, that's telling me I can't, that's telling me I'm not good enough, that's telling me this is not happening and I don't know how. When it tells you all that garbage, this subconscious part of your brain, your job is to sit with that, to see that, to feel that, not to fight it, not to run from it, not to do anything like, but instead to let yourself be curious Curiosity and questions, the most powerful stuff to empowering yourself and to getting yourself into your power. Just so freaking powerful. So the question is, how badly do you want to be empowered? Because if you want it really, really bad, you will consider doing something other than what you've always done. And I'm speaking from experience. I did the things I knew how to do over and over and over for 40 years. Now, there were some places that I stepped out of, but emotionally, the only place I found myself stepping out of feeling held back and like, oh, I can't and I don't know how, was in acting and singing, performing. That's where I found it. And honestly, to be able to step into it in my real life, for you to be able to step into it in your real life, that is the quest. We're very, very comfortable with being angry and fighting against what's going on in DC. We're very comfortable with complaining and being scared. We don't like being scared, but we're very, very comfortable with being scared. Hi, Karina. Korean, I mean, sorry. Um, we're not comfortable with challenging ourselves to think in new ways and to act in new ways and we're not comfortable with the greatest courage we can have, which is to really meet ourselves. We haven't gone to that. We say, I can't. We've been trained to say, I can't shift this emotion. I can't shift this reality. I can't make anything different. I'm just one person. I'm just a human being. I'm only human. Big fat lie. You are so not only human. You're missing half of yourself. You're missing half of yourself. We're all, most of us, like 99.999, we're missing half of ourselves. Hey, lady. Oh, thank you very much. I like the blue earrings myself. Appreciate it. And if you understand that what you are, that the origin, even of your physicality, is energy, you will start to reclaim the half of yourself that's been missing, the feminine part of you that's been missing. Think about it. You have a body, you're alive. You die, your body disintegrates immediately. Why? 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 Energy. The energy left. You left. Your real essence just left the building. You left the building. Your energy. Your energy first. First, and first. Energy first. What does that mean? How is that important? Nothing could be more important. Not anything. Have you ever had an emotion you couldn't get rid of? Have you ever had a situation you couldn't get rid of? Have you ever had a job you couldn't get rid of? Like, have you ever had something that you felt like, I'm just enslaved to this? I mean, everybody has. Everybody has. There was a wonderful Abraham Hicks video where this one woman came up and she was talking and she said, I have a job I loathe, just hate it. She says, but I had been listening to your information about alignment. You've got to align with what you want energetically, emotionally, think about it in the positive sense and blah, 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 blah. And then boom, it happens. So she said, so I decided to look for the things that I loved about my job, the people, maybe some of the things that I liked doing within it. And I started to nurture those things. I started to create. Thank you, pollinator. Somebody sent me a rose on TikTok. Mwah. Thank you. I wish it were scratch and sniff. Um, and she said, so I did that. I decided to put myself into the place where I felt better. I felt good. And I was happy anyway. And she said, then you know what happened? They fired me. They fired me. And she said, what happened? And Abraham said, you were vibrating at too high a place. You no longer belonged there. It's like being on one of those rounds that they have these things, at least in America, where I don't know if they still have them because they're pretty dangerous, really. Where you can jump on, you can run really fast, make it go really fast, then jump on and go. She said, you got thrown off into the bushes. That's what happened. You got thrown off. You were moving too fast. This is what we want. We want to be moving too fast to have any impact from what's going on in Washington, in the world, anywhere, in our lives. I mean, is it not the craziest thought that you can sit down and in like 5 minutes switch how you feel about something, switch the nature of something? I mean, I never knew I could do anything about my depression. Decades and decades of clinical depression. I didn't think I could do anything about it other than take the meds and go to the job, go to the group therapy and the individual therapy. I didn't know I could do anything else. And then I cured the clinical part. I impacted it in 10 minutes. After 40 years, 10 minutes, I made a shift. I did a what now? I did a what now? I shifted it. I shifted from, I don't know if I'll make it through the night to, I still feel like a pile of crap, but I'm going to make it through the night. And then 5 more days, the clinical was gone. I had changed my brain. I had changed the grooves in my brain. Transformed, not just changed, because for me, change means you can change it back, but I had transformed the pathways in my brain. Do you get how big that is? Like, that's insane. Actually, it's the most sane thing I ever did in my life. And now I use it whenever I need to. I have different ways of using it to shift that place in my brain that tells me I can't, I'm not, I don't know how. And I use it to just transform everything. And throughout this whole thing going on in DC and all of the fear around it and all of the horror, because it's so freaking far from any kind of care, any kind of loving kindness that we're supposed to have for one another as a base, as a freaking base. I have felt incredibly protected. And I've wondered at that a lot. I've said, what? Am I delusional? Maybe I'm just delusional and I'm just like, I don't know. I'm just full of it or something and I don't know. But I felt so protected. And it's an energetic sense. Ugh, the stupid light keeps going off. Why do you keep going off with stupid light? Let me try to get it to stay on. Hold on. I'll see if that works or not. So I was like, am I delusional or not? And I'm not delusional, but I'm also measuring against the reality I'm in. All right. So it's not that, I mean, if I were living under a bridge and I felt untouchable, that would be great also, because when you can feel that energetic protection, there's a lot going on there. There's a lot going on about your faith in yourself, in your ability to draw from some mysterious place that you may not be able to identify yet, but you feel like, I can do this. I can make things happen. I can fix situations that I'm in. I can meet situations that I'm in, and I can improve them. That's something I didn't believe for about 4 decades. I didn't believe that at all. My mother had died when I was young. She got sick when I was 11. She died when I was 21. And I was destroyed. I did not believe the world was a safe place for me to be. I didn't think it was a safe place at all for me to be. I felt no support at all. And then my dad died, and then I was on my own, and then I was in a relationship that was really not great at all. And I was in it and I stayed in it because it was the only relationship of any kind that I had when I lived in California. And I need community. I connect with people emotionally. That's who I am. I can't live in California because they don't do that. At least not in the Bay Area. I still have a friend from the Bay Area, but it's I can't live there. There's no support for me there. And I went through all of those things. And the whole time I thought, there's nothing here for me. I don't have any support. And I was afraid every single day, every single moment of every single day. I was afraid and depressed and anxious because I thought, I don't know what's going to happen next. And it's all out of my hands. It's all out of my hands. And that's the big lie. That's the big, big lie. That now that we're in this evolutionary period, we need to hear this and we need to be brave enough to use different ways to prove it to ourselves. Care about yourself, but sometimes that feels very difficult, doesn't it? I'm going to say, get pissed off enough. Get freaking pissed off at all the shit you put up with because you don't know how to fix it. Get pissed off. Go, I'm sick of this. I'm sick of this, God, of this pattern. I'm sick of the pattern. I'm sick of going through this time and time and time again. I just don't know how much more of this I can take. Get sick of it. Because then you're like, okay, if I'm going to be proactive enough, the one thing I can do is I can go to ChatGPT. This is going to be my example for today. Go to ChatGPT and say, how the hell do I find another way to get to my energetic empowerment? What are the other ways to be empowered as a human in an energy way, an emotional way, a proactive way, other than having the physical strength to beat the crap out of somebody who's ruining my country? Get pissed off. Because I'll tell you what, being angry gets you into determination, and that is a higher energy than depression. And when you can sit there with your feelings of disempowerment, when you can sit there with your feelings of like, oh crap, what have I just done? Or where do I go from here? You know, if you can do that, if you can sit with that and not run and not try to beat the crap out of it or yourself, but instead go into at least one moment of questioning. And not questioning of like, why am I doing that? But what could be a little bit better about this? Or is this the truth? Is this the truth? I'm so sorry for the wobbliness, Substack. I can't reach my stand. You are a mystery, right? You're mysterious, right? You're more than you know, right? I mean, we kind of take those things as a given, don't we? There's more to me than I know. I am all that I am. All that I need is within. So they say, if you buy that, why aren't you buying a pickaxe and a hat with one of the lights on it? You know, like what? Let's go. Let's go. Let's go. What are we waiting for? Haven't we waited long enough? How the fuck old are we? I'm 67. How the fuck old are you? Let's go. How am I supposed to go and where am I going? Now, those are the questions to ask. Those are the right questions. Where am I going? And how do I start the journey? So, one of the things that I learned about the energy on that night when I healed myself and then kept healing myself over the last 3.5 years is that the one place that was tormenting me, emotion, was the one place that could save me because of its nature. Because of its nature, its energy. It's energy. You try willpower to get yourself to stop thinking about a pink elephant. Good luck, right? You know the example. Try not to think of a pink elephant, and immediately you see a pink elephant in your head. We are fast. All right, we're very fast. Get faster at thinking about things that also you feel about or sense about. I always take a deep breath. That was not done on purpose. I always take a deep breath when I think of light on leaves outside a window. There's always been something for me when I'm sitting feeling sad in my apartment all alone, and I look out the window and I see the light on the leaves, especially in the spring, and it makes me take a deep breath. It makes me feel better. And don't say, what difference does that make? Because it makes every single difference. It's the place hidden within you where you have the power. If you want to switch things, if you want to be the person who can switch the nature. Oh my God, the nature of your experience of life? You mean I wasn't born to be miserable? No, you were not born to be miserable. You are in the moment, every moment, choosing, and that sucks because we don't understand that. We're like, the hell I am. I don't like this shit. What the fuck are you talking about? I understand. It's the secret of this evolutionary period is the absolute 180-degree turning from I don't have the power to I am the power. It means that you have to be able to sit with two things at once. You have to be able to sit with the pattern that you've got going, the situation you've got going, and some kind of understanding that when you focus on something that feels 1% better, not 100% better, 1%, light on leaves, kissing your child, like just something 1% better, drawing, and you think of it and you feel it, you then nurture the feeling for just as long as you can before you just let it go. You've just shifted. You've just changed everything. You've just transformed where you're standing. You've been standing here your whole life, right? Like this was me. 3.5 years ago, this was me. I'm here. This is me. Like this grounding here, this is me, I said. I can't change this. I'm just going to have to deal with this and try to come out of it and be better than it and more than it and push my way through and try all these things. Like there's no movability of this ground. And what I learned is that that's not so. Because if I'm standing here and what I want is here, I may be able to get, and this is related to the nervous system. I can get from here to here, and from here I can jump to here, but I can't go from here to here. The nervous system is like that. There's 3 parts to the nervous system. The very bottom one is the one that is all about depression and hopelessness. The middle is fight or flight. So it's interesting, right? Fight or flight, higher energy than depression. And you can use this higher energy to go even higher. Do you know what the middle part of there's an emotional ladder, and the middle part of the emotional ladder, do you know what the dead middle is? Boredom. Isn't that interesting? I can't say I quite understand that, but boredom. Boredom is higher vibration than frustration. Interesting. But you can use wherever you are on the ladder to start lifting. And it's not that you have to lift yourself like, okay, yesterday I was a -6 and today I'm 120 or today I'm 20 or whatever. It's more that wherever you are in each day, you are willing to pull on and recognize and pull on the energy that you are. You're willing to say, what am I thinking? What am I feeling? And is it real? Do I choose to believe you? We've got to take back our power of choice. We have to. We have to. Or stay where we are and keep learning on the only human levels. And those levels are really interesting and really important. They are. They really are. They don't lack in importance at all. Right? They don't. I had to learn to walk away from bad relationships. I had to learn how hard it is for me. I had to learn how tough it is for me to walk away from bad relationships and then say to myself, let me be curious. Let me stop beating the crap out of myself. Let me ask, why is that? Not why is it based on who was I? Like, who abused me? No. What is the feeling? What is the in the moment why? What is making me, what do I feel right now as I think about that relationship? What is it that I feel right now? I feel trapped. I'm giving you an answer that is current right this second. I feel trapped. When I think about all of those negative relationships that I had, and I think about how hard it was for me to get out, I feel trapped. And I feel it. Where do I feel it? I feel it in my gut. Now, that is usually where we stop, right? We go, well, that's it. I'm doomed, or I have to go to therapy, or I have to go and whatever. I have to go do something. I have to go drink, or I have to go eat a bunch of chocolate or whatever. Like we have to go do something to make it go away. Much better to transform it than to just make it go away temporarily, wouldn't you say? Much, much better. How do we do that? So in this moment, as I sit and I'm aware of that feeling, thanks, Black Rose. Appreciate you. If you feel so driven, go ahead and share this. And thanks for being here. It means a great deal to me to be able to share my message with you and with others. Thank you, honey. As you can tell, I've got TikTok over here and I've got Substack over here. So I don't have the slick setup yet. So forgive me if I'm not looking at you at a certain moment. So as I feel that feeling, now see, the feeling has shifted already because I got distracted and I got to talk to somebody lovely and thank her or him. It's probably her. Now, does that mean it's gone? No. And if you settle for, okay, it's gone for now. No, I can still feel some of it. So the game is come back to it and feel where it is now. Okay, it's still in my gut, but it's smaller. What you're doing is you are reworking the grooves in your brain that are connected with the emotion. And you can do all of this from a perspective of thinking of things that are better in the same vein. So I can say to myself, I've had good relationships with friends. I've been able to hold boundaries better with friends. And then that's a better thought, right? But it has to feel better. It can't just be a better thought. You have to feel something, and not a lot. No, tiny bit. Any kind of shit, anything. And it's not like an emotion feeling. It can be like a sensing, because for me, it's so much a sensing of light in my being. It's so much a sensing of just a shift, or maybe my shoulders were like this, and then I feel them go down, or I take a deep breath without meaning to. It just happens. And you have to be willing to go back to that feeling and bring up that next slightly better feeling thought. And see if it really is a better feeling thought for you. This is very completely personal, intimate work that you do with you. And it shifts everything within you. It shifts your access to your intuition and your ability to go, you know what, screw this. This is feeling way too hard. This work I'm doing, for screw it. I'm out. I'm going to take a 5-minute walk. I'm going to, or if you're not working for somebody else and you're a womanpreneur and you're like, oh my God, this is kicking my ass. I hate this stuff. Get the hell up. Go do something. Buy yourself a hairpin. Do something. But make sure more and more that you get to listening to what that could be. This is what I'm doing the last few days, and it's really, really fascinating. It's really, I don't know the right word, but it's not obvious stuff, and it's certainly not external. This is very internal stuff. Like I said earlier, I insist on holding God's feet to the fire. And I don't mean that in a religious way. I even don't mean it in the spiritual way we usually talk about. I am mentally sure, convinced, experientially aware that when I am aligned with what I call clear, clean energy, when I don't have any doubts coming in about what I'm doing, when I don't have any sense of I've got to protect myself by not showing some aspect of me, that's when I'm at my most powerful. And that's what they say about all the great beings. Excuse me. That's what they say. They go, well, like Amachi, the hugging saint. And they say that one being who is realized is, I don't know, I mean, it's an astronomical number, more powerful than one person who is, that is, this many times bigger than another astronomical number of us who are asleep. And I've seen it from the stage, and I felt it from the stage, and I've just witnessed it. When I'm on the stage and I'm like so happy to be consciously sharing my energy. And I'll look out at a specific person and I'll watch them get infused with that energy. I'll watch them, oh, for real, it's just remarkable. It's a dance because then their energy opens up, and then it's like this. It's beautiful. It's absolutely fantastic. And how do you get to that energy? It's your emotion. It's your sensing. It's your feeling. You have to be brave. I do have a free course. If you want it, DM me. Um, that talks about how I discovered this experientially, how I healed the clinical part of depression. So that's a thing. That's a for real thing. The other thing I want to say to you is that I have a Thursday meeting for all of us womanpreneurs, sorry. And it's free. It's free to come to. It's Thursdays, 12:30 p.m. Eastern US time, 12:30 p.m. Eastern US time. And it's a place where women can come and talk about what's up with their business and ask questions and find answers together. There is nothing like the group mind, and especially when it's women. OMG. We have taken so much on. We've taken so much on. Anyway, if you want to be in that group, because I'm hamstrung, I'm holding the phone for Substack, and I'm doing TikTok over here. If you want to get the invitation to that thing, just DM me and I'll be glad to give it to you. It's just call it the Womanpreneur Weekly Meeting, and I'll know what you mean. Okay? All right. Anybody have a question or a thought before we ring off? Is there any questions about what I've said or contributions? Because I'm not the only person in the world who's working on this. It's okay to say no also, by the way. All righty. Well, I want to thank you very, very much for being here. And I want you to keep the thought. I want you to keep the thought that you have lived your whole life without half of you. And it's the most powerful part of you. So, how exciting. Now, go get to ChatGPT and go, how the hell do I? And ask the question, because that's what I'm going to do. I'm going to ask, how the hell do I finally learn how to actually do and play with music theory? How do I finally frickin' do this? You would love to join. DM me, send me a message, and I'll get you the information. Yeah, it'd be great to have you. Um, how do I actually learn music theory in a way that I can become a jazz pianist? Let's go. Like I've been trying this for years, following the practical. Screw it. I'm gonna go to ChatGPT and go, how do I come on, I need you to work with me. And keep asking the questions. ChatGPT is just a chat. It doesn't know. It sounds human. It ain't. I know you know that here, but I finally figured out the kinds of questions to ask. Like I even asked it, I said, how do I ask you? What is the best possible way for me to ask you the question I want to ask you about how I can learn theory so that I can become a jazz pianist? What's the best way for me to ask you? What is that? Well, that is me being empowered. That is me saying, I have faith in my ability to find a right next step. Yepper. It's just your right next step. It's not the right next rest of your freaking life. It's too much. It's not necessary. It's like if you take one small step, one, just one. It's as if you stepped on one of those moving sidewalks in the airport. You took one step, the rest of it takes the rest. It's like jumping on a wave and riding it into the shore. That's a big, 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 big lesson for me because I thought there was literally nothing that I had any power to do or be. So if I could do it, you can do it. All right. I wish you a beautiful rest of your Sunday and a good week and love and moxie to all of you. Bye. Oh, by the way, I'm here Tuesdays, Thursdays at 5, Sunday at 11. Tuesdays, Thursdays at 5 Eastern. Bye.